We're a group of research classified employees at OHSU who are trying to organize a new union for research workers with the helps of AFSCME reps Damon and Eddie. The goals of this presentation are to get the word out, we are organizing, explain the process of forming a union, answer any questions you may have, get your feedback, what would you like to see happen, and get more support. We need your help if we are to succeed. OHSU research workers want our jobs to be stable careers rather than stepping stones. We seek to ensure staff have adequate resources for financial security and sustainable work-life balance, to reduce high turnover, making it feasible for staff to remain and progress in their positions, and to make certain that job expectations and criteria for advancement are clear, consistent, and dependable. We believe that making changes aimed at reducing turnover, decreasing burnout, increasing job and financial security, and improving work-life balance will also result in higher quality and faster pace of research to better serve OHSU, the scientific community, and the public. The National Labor Relations Act of 1935 guarantees our right to collective bargaining to create and update a contract with an employer, and collective action, such as strikes if an agreement can't be reached. Workers collectively negotiate with their employer for higher wages, better benefits, and better working conditions. Unions use democratic decision-making, in which members can vote on what we want in our contract and who represents us. Lastly, unions have voluntary participation. No one is forced to join a union or pay fees. Just like the other OHSU unions, we would be a part of AFSCME Council 75. AFSCME is the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, and Council 75 represents state, city, and county workers across Oregon. Our union contract would be unique and separate from other OHSU workers' unions that already exist. There are currently 3 bargaining units, and ours would become the 4th. Local 328, which covers the majority of OHSU employees, including medical assistants, clerical staff, and more. Local 402, the OHSU Graduate Researchers United, and Local 4820, the OHSU House Officers, or Medical Residents. This is how our union will be connected to other AFSCME locals. At OHSU, we'd be the newest and second largest AFSCME local, along 7,000 staff plus hundreds of graduate students and medical residents. We would have our own officers in contract, but would also be part of the statewide council, which includes every AFSCME local in the state of Oregon. The council provides a variety of resources to the locals, as well as working to bring on new members and facilitating cooperation across locals. The councils, in turn, make up the International Union. With nearly 2 million members, AFSCME is the largest public sector union in the U.S. It is led by officers who are elected by delegates from each of the locals. Any OHSU research classified employees that are non-supervisory, i.e. no one who could hire and fire other members, would be eligible to join a research workers union. Let's discuss the steps required to form a union. First, we must obtain majority support through outreach. If more than half of the nearly 2,000 research classified employees start unionizing, then we can form our union. When we expect majority support, we can distribute confidential authorization cards, which employees can submit to declare their support of forming a union. Following this, we can collect the authorization cards and present them to the ERB, or Employee Relations Board. This would allow us to formally request that OHSU recognize our union. Once our union is successfully formed, we can elect a bargaining team, who are nominated and voted in by their coworkers. A research workers union bargaining team, including AFSCME Council 75 reps, meet regularly to prepare contract proposals. This research workers union bargaining team would meet with the employer at the bargaining table to negotiate the terms of our contract. To write our contract, bargaining surveys will go out to all eligible workers in the union to find out what are the common issues. Are there department and role-specific needs? From here, proposals are traded back and forth between the bargaining team and management and modified until both the bargaining team and employer agree. Union members will vote to ratify the contract by simple majority. At this point, the contract would go into effect and could be reopened periodically, typically every 3 years, for improvements and expansion. The terms of our first contract would be up to us to keep the things we have and like, get rid of the things we don't like, and add things we need and don't have. These include some common concerns such as flexible schedules, no mandatory overtime, job training for career mobility, wages that are competitive with the cost of living, and more opportunities for advancement. How might job flexibility be addressed by our union? Having a union job does not go in hand with a rigid schedule or punching a clock. In fact, most union contracts negotiated by people in academic research do not include these kinds of requirements because they are not in the interest of the workers or management. If flexibility is important to the members of the union, the bargaining team can solidify that in a contract. Currently, the flexibility that staff enjoy only really exists at the whim of management or PIs, so a contract can make it more official and predictable in your work. How would grant funding for salaries affect our union contract? It's true that grant funding can complicate things a bit, but we are employees of OHSU, not the institutions providing the grants. OHSU sets most of the terms of our employment right now. If a union contract requires better pay or benefits for research workers, the cost will have to be covered by OHSU and/or incorporated to future grant applications by PIs, just as any change in compensation would be without a union. If a grant goes away entirely and your PI is no longer able to employ you at all, that's not something a union can probably prevent. However, we can negotiate for policies like laid-off members being rehired if another position opens at OHSU that they are qualified for, and other universities with unions have negotiated bridge funds provided by the university to keep research workers employed during funding gaps. Our last question is if employees can get in trouble for unionizing. OHSU is a public sector employer, which means it falls under the Public Employees Collective Bargaining Act, PECBA, which is enforced by the Employment Relations Board, or ERB. It's easy to remember SPIT. Leadership cannot spy, promise, intimidate, or threaten organizing workers. If you witness this behavior from supervisory staff, be sure to contact your organizing committee right away. The union may choose to file it as an unfair labor practice with the ERB during the course of the union campaign. Now we'd like to show some photos from the other OHSU unions.
In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of atoms, magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever.